Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Spotify.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
This is Optimal Work Daily, episode 1415, Teaching Persistence Without Overdoing the Pain, by Brian Molina of AubreyDaniels.com. And I am Dan, I'm your host here, and I'm with you every single day reading from great blogs on work, business, and entrepreneurship. And with that, we're going to get right into our post as we optimize your life. Teaching Persistence Without Overdoing the Pain, by Brian Molina of AubreyDaniels.com. A headline about Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang wishing pain and suffering upon Stanford students caught my attention recently. I took the bait and clicked to find out what he might be getting at. Apparently, it's his thing. He wishes pain and suffering to his audiences and employees with the hope that it will help them develop grit. He said, quote, "The ability to endure pain and suffering is called grit. It is now recognized as one of the most important characteristics of successful people." End quote. Huang remarked that since he doesn't know how to teach grit, he wishes ample pain and suffering upon others so that they may become grittier. It's an attention-grabbing and provocative message, and for me, it begs two questions. First, what benefits does grit bring to the workplace? And second, how can leaders proactively cultivate grit in their areas of influence? Benefits of grit in the workplace. I can see why grittiness or resilience in the workplace is on Huang's radar. There's evidence that grittier employees demonstrate increased engagement, higher skill levels, and better performance across varied professions. Grit has also been associated with lower rates of burnout in healthcare workers and better physical and mental health. For organizations, this translates to healthier people and better results. The secret sauce: pain and suffering? The connection between experiencing hardship and becoming a success is deeply embedded within our culture. Rags to riches narratives often highlight hardship as an indispensable ingredient, and for many, it seems like common sense. The sentiment is reflected in familiar sayings such as, "No pain, no gain," "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," and "The strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire." Leaders would be well served to remember, however, that just because hardship can breed resilience doesn't mean that it does so reliably, quickly, or without significant costs. We tend to remember the stories of those who endured and triumphed because they are truly exceptional. But painful conditions don't always lead to triumph. A more likely outcome of prolonged stress, particularly at work, is burnout. A Deloitte survey found 77% of respondents indicated they have experienced burnout at their current job and that it negatively impacts the quality of their work and relationships. It's critical that leaders learn to strike a balance between ensuring that employees are challenged and engaged without experiencing the damaging side effects of chronic stress. Cultivating grit. We're all bound to naturally experience some level of hardship in our lives without our bosses wishing or dishing us more. Leaders can use the following tips to help their employees shine under pressure while mitigating the risk of burnout. Tip number 1, define grit in your own role. Up to this point, we've been talking about grit vaguely. We may each have a sense of what it means based on our own experiences and interpretations of the word. In everyday speech, it's convenient to speak in fuzzy terms and assume listeners get the gist. When it comes to proactively managing behavior, however, a much more specific approach is needed. In academic circles, grit refers to the disposition to pursue long-term goals with both passion and perseverance. So what does that look like on the job? A good place to start is pinpointing what that looks like in your own role. Ask yourself, what is it that I do or say that shows I'm passionate and persistent about achieving long-term goals? These could be things you already do or things that you could start to do more often. In one interview, Huang pinpoints a few of his own actions as a leader that enable him to stay the course under pressure, including taking time each morning to prioritize the day's tasks, checking into his values, acknowledging the good within the company, its processes, and fundamentals, soliciting ideas, opinions, and feedback from direct reports, and providing resources, support, and removing barriers for those doing the work. Tip number 2, lead by example. Once you have a solid handle on the specific leader behaviors that roll up into the label grit, make it a point to demonstrate these to your team. Employees take cues from leadership, so it's important to walk the talk. This doesn't mean reciting a list of your own gritty behaviors or tooting your own horn. Instead, intentionally take opportunities to weave examples into everyday conversations with your team. For example, reference values, company or personal, often, and make it clear how those values impact your decision-making. Instead of only privately acknowledging the good within the company, speak to specific examples often. Tip number 3, identify and prompt employee behaviors you want. After defining and demonstrating grit in your own role as a leader, define and encourage gritty behaviors within your team. Again, resist the ever-tempting pull to speak vaguely about the actions you want more or less of. Terms like, be a better critical thinker, or care more about our customer service, don't clearly signal what success looks like, and pinpoint what you'd expect to see or hear if that person did begin to improve. Becoming a better critical thinker might look, in part, like an employee reflecting upon the conclusion of a major project to identify areas of improvement and applying those insights to future projects. Caring more about customer service might be demonstrated by responding quickly to customer concerns and exploring all options to satisfy their needs and maintain a strong working relationship. Once you have a list of a few specific behaviors that you'd like to see more of, prompt them. This doesn't necessarily need to be a long conversation or something that you hold on to until an annual review. The key factors here are specificity and timing. Make sure that it's clear to the performer what behavior or behaviors you're looking for and the context or conditions under which the behavior should be performed. Also, try to deliver the prompt right before the employee has an opportunity to try out the new behavior. A conversation from the day before will be much fresher and thus more likely to influence behavior than the memory of a one-to-one months ago. And tip number 4, arrange ongoing support for the behaviors you want. As soon as you notice a positive shift in behavior, it's important to recognize and reinforce those improvements. In its simplest form, this could be your own praise and recognition. Remember to speak to the behavior change in specific terms, just as you did when you prompted the behavior initially. This recognition will make it more likely that they'll repeat the desired behavior or give it another try if the first attempt didn't fully hit the mark. Recall that grit is characterized in part by the pursuit of long-term goals. As employees continue to incrementally improve, it may be a while before they experience the natural benefits of the behaviors that they're working on. For instance, receiving a promotion, goal attainment, or customer impact. As a leader, you can bridge this gap by helping them recognize early indicators of success before the larger prize over the horizon. For example, sales coaches know that the ultimate accomplishment of closing a deal or earning a commission may not be enough to motivate the right behaviors day to day. Instead, they coach sales reps to focus on shorter-term leading indicators such as positive initial responses, requests for proposals or quotes, or detailed questions about the product or service. Helping an employee to recognize and interpret early indicators of success in their own work boosts resilience. It also decreases their reliance on rewards delivered by leaders or the organization. The bottom line: there are tangible benefits to having a gritty workforce. While it may not be obvious how to teach grit, leaders can do more than hope that employees encounter hardship and find their way. Becoming gritty is less about experiencing hardship and more about the effective behaviors people pick up and support that they receive along the way. Challenging while also supporting employees may be a delicate balance to strike, but it's well worth putting in the intentional effort. While the specifics of your approach should be customized to the individual, leaders can begin by positioning themselves as coaches who model, define, encourage, and support critical behaviors that will enable people and the organization to succeed. You just listened to the post titled Teaching Persistence Without Overdoing the Pain by Brian Molina of AubreyDaniels.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all have non-negotiables. Maybe you never skip leg day or have to take your morning walks. But when your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. Therapy can help you reclaim control of your time and values. And make no mistake, therapy is for everyone. Whether or not you've been through significant trauma, therapy can be a great tool for setting boundaries, learning positive coping skills, and ultimately becoming the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/workdaily today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/workdaily. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. So just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And thank you so much to Brian for sharing this post today. He is a contributor to Aubrey Daniels' site, and a little bit more about him. Brian's been in the field of behavioral science for 8 years now. He has helped organizations improve their operations and service delivery by assessing performance and implementing learning and performance solutions to drive desired outcomes. He has broad experience partnering with business, nonprofit, and public sector entities. And as for Aubrey, who runs this site, Aubrey is a thought leader and expert on management, leadership, safety, and workplace issues. For the past 40 years, he's been dedicated to helping people and organizations apply the laws of human behavior to optimize performance. His company, Aubrey Daniels International, provides leadership development expertise and behavioral technology to improve your business and its culture. Regardless of your organization's industry, improving your business performance requires your employees to do some things more often, some less often, and some differently. ADI's mission is to support you in accomplishing that goal quickly and efficiently. So they help you optimize your company's business metrics, work culture, and safety performance through positive, practical approaches that are grounded in the science of behavior and engineered to ensure long-term stability. And you can learn much more about all this at aubreydaniels.com. So that's it for another edition of Optimal Work Daily. I appreciate you being here with me as always, and I'll see you once again tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.